can anyone stop the Chiefs?
Let me get my rock, man. Let me get my rock.
Look at you. Damn,
I got to make sure his hands still work.
Oh, yeah. You ready.
No. And the worst thing has happened to the entirety of the AFC, except the Chiefs, which is the Chiefs are now clicking on both cylinders, offensively and defensively. So usually we break the season into quadrants. Remember when there are 16 games, we look at it first quarter of the season, the first 4 games, second 4 games, third 4 games, last 4 games. That's back when the season was 16 games, what every NFL team does. I've broken it down into thirds to look at these Chiefs and why no one can stop the Chiefs. First 5 games of the season, if we look at it in a big board, Chiefs offense was on point, 31 points a game. Defense, terrible, giving up 32 points a game. Okay, then the next 4 games, if you will, offense now was atrocious, only scoring 17 points a game, but the defense was balling, only giving up 16 points a game. But this last little third, if you will, collectively dominant. Offense scoring 30 points a game, and now the defense only giving up 13 points a game. Nobody can stop the Chiefs because the Chiefs have now ignited what should be the fear to every other team in the AFC. Offense is balling, defense is balling. Remember when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl 2019, what happened come week 11?
Don't do this.
The defense those last 7 weeks of the season were as good, if not better, than every other team in football. Now that the defense is playing great, which they have been since week 6, now that the offense is playing great, which they stopped doing after week 5, I don't think anybody can stop the Chiefs.
Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or the suit that's a robe. First of all, let's give some love to Emmanuel Acho, who just got out of the bed. But I respect you. No, that's clean. That's clean. That's love. That's love. That's love. Okay, you know what I got to do? I got to give credit where credit's due. I can't sit up there in the A block and say, Acho, give the Cowboys credit, then come back on the B block and then rob the Chiefs of the credit they deserve. Everybody out there, America, listen to me, because I'm a Chiefs hater, as y'all say. The Chiefs are back. The Chiefs are back. Now, ellipsis. Back to what? The dynasty. The dynasty that was not a dynasty. Let's talk about the Chiefs are back. Respect. Ooh, look at these boys. They done won 8 straight. They done won 6 titles. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And what has that gotten them in receipts? The best version of Patrick Mahomes? They didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. AFC Championship loss. The next year, a little lesser version of Patrick Mahomes. Still tremendous, still a beast. Oh, let's go win the Super Bowl. Then the next year, let's go to the Super Bowl again. But this time, we're going to lose and get embarrassed and not even score a touchdown. So the Chiefs are back. Acho, congratulations. Tie up the robe a little tighter. They're back to what is my conversation, my question mark. Think about this. If that was a dynasty, then what are the Chiefs right now? A team that may not make it to the Super Bowl, a team that may make it to the Super Bowl and win, or a team that gets embarrassed in the Super Bowl. Let me remind you what those Super Bowls look like to these Kansas City Chiefs. 8 quarters of football in the 2 Super Bowls. 7 of those quarters, they were down. 1 quarter of Chiefs football in 2 Super Bowl appearances. So there's been more evidence that this team either won't make it to the Super Bowl, or when they make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to be down or they're going to be out. There's 1 quarter, Jimmy G. There's 1 quarter, number 2 defense, that let them down, the 49ers, that makes us think they're dynastic. If they were a dynasty then, yeah, they're back to that same dynasty that may not even make it to the Super Bowl.
So it sounded like what you were saying was going to scare me or be worrisome, but it's kind of like when people be like, hey, Acho, be careful when you start getting more money. You know, more money, more problems. I'm like, I'll cross that bridge when I get it. Let me get the money and they didn't lie.
Puffy, you ain't lying.
They didn't lie. With the Chiefs, if the Chiefs' biggest issue is, hey, but y'all are going to struggle in the Super Bowl, then
that's not the
that
biggest.
Be an issue.
What about the first one? They didn't even make it.
Big dog. That was Patrick Mahomes' first year as a starter. What it comes down to is the Chiefs are a dynasty. Why? Because every AFC team has to go through the Chiefs. It's the same reason I said LeBron James, the entity, was a dynasty.
I'll give you that.
Now we can't talk about him presently. But if you wanted to go to the championship, you had to go through LeBron James. When you look at, all right, can the Chiefs be beat? The question now for me becomes, who's going to beat them? Right? I look at every AFC team in the playoff picture. Let's throw that one out. Every AFC team in the playoff picture. Tennessee Titans, they're not good enough on offense to beat them. Cincinnati Bengals, they're not good enough on defense to beat them. I'm going to skip the Bills, get back to that because you got something there.
You know the Titans beat them already, though.
Indianapolis Colts, Titans beat them before they were hot. Indianapolis Colts, I do not think their quarterback, and I love Carson Wentz, I don't think their offense is good enough to beat them. Patriots, offense not good enough to beat them. Ravens, are they healthy? Defense not good enough to beat them. So what it comes down to is
couple losses
this
there.
is who the Chiefs have to be mindful of.
Couple losses.
Only team, not a couple losses in the last 8 weeks, only team that I give any credence to is the Bills, is who can actually stop the Chiefs where the Chiefs are right here, right now.
Dog, before you compare yourself to others, please do me this favor. Compare yourself to yourself. Life's a competition between you and yourself. Not me, Wileyism, Mark Twain. Okay, so let's compare the Chiefs to the Chiefs. I heard you say it in your first lap, 2019 and the better versions of the Chiefs, and now they're returning to that form. You're making my point. They're back to what they were. And what they were, more times than not, fell short of the ultimate prize, the ultimate goal. Let's respect that. But let's also look at the Chiefs versus themselves. The year-to-year comparisons, the last 4 seasons, this dynasty, including this year, right? If you look at the Chiefs, I'm looking at them points per game. Okay, they back. Oh, the worst of the 4 years. Dynasty? This is the worst version of the dynasty that only has 1 quarter, 1 ring of championship football. Okay, let's look at yards per play. Let's look at defensive yards per play. Let's look at points per game allowed. Everywhere you look, I don't even want to bore people with these stats. Point is, this is the worst version of a dynasty that never was. And you're trying to tell me that no one can beat them?
Here's why that is irrelevant. Because I would assume that the time, I don't know, call it Bill Gates had the least amount of money was probably in 2008 when the economy crashed. You can't compare yourself to yourself. You got to compare yourself to the field because things change on a year-by-year basis.
I respect that.
So it's not a matter of, well, Chiefs, are you better than you were last year? Are you better than you were in 2019? How are you in comparison to the field? In comparison to the field,
look at that team right underneath them. That team already touched them. And that team is going to see them again, potentially going forward. And that team may be reloaded. That team may be hot as well when Derrick Henry comes back. That's just one example. I love how we're doing right now this theoretical matchmaking. Like, what the Chiefs with this hot streak, what is it going to take them to in terms of ultimate achievement? The problem is we've seen them better than this, and it didn't get them all the way. But one time, for 1 quarter of 1 game, all I'm looking at is this Chiefs team good enough to even get to that position before? Because remember, Patrick Mahomes' best version also came short of the Super Bowl.
So who is the most dangerous person in the world?
No, most dangerous person in the world?
Most dangerous person in the world. Probably an actual person.
Yes, I know.
Attributes that make them the most dangerous.
Master Kim, who is my son's taekwondo teacher, who sits and he can sit. He's like 70 years old, dog. He sits and his legs are crossed and they like touching his ears still. It's crazy. But the point is he's like an 18-degree black belt. Him. Dare you to go up to him.
Outside of Master Kim, most dangerous person in the world is somebody that's hungry, somebody that's needy, somebody that's desperate.
You ever fight somebody hungry? They ain't got much energy.
Somebody that's desperate.
Okay.
Who was desperate yesterday? The Steelers were very, very, very desperate yesterday. Why? Because they needed a win way more than the Chiefs needed.
So did the Chargers. How'd that turn out?
Not good either.
Yeah.
But the Steelers were incredibly desperate yesterday, yet the Chiefs without Travis Kelce, the same Travis Kelce that was the exclusive reason that the Chiefs beat the Chargers the week before.
Facts.
The Chiefs without Travis Kelce went and embarrassed a team that was hungrier than them, needed it more than them, and should have wanted it more than them. I don't think anybody can touch the Chiefs right now, and it's not about my thoughts. 8 straight wins, that tells you nobody can touch it.
Okay, I love that. But then when we go to the Cowboys, 4 straight wins, all of a sudden we start slicing and dicing. All I'm saying is keep the same weapon out, big dog. Slice and dice these Chiefs up. You got to admit this in terms of your internal confidence. If you are not your best version, but your best version in 3 years came up short twice, then you're like, yo, what is this what we're dealing with right now? It feels good that we're better than the others, theoretically. But in terms of our own internal confidence, who are we as the Chiefs? This is not the best version on paper. This is not the best version in terms of flow, in terms of them feeling in rhythm. But, hey, they got the best record in the AFC. I give them respect for that. But they've been there before and fallen short with that same best record.